What's going on, guys? My name's Oh My God, Your Head's Gone, and welcome to episode 2 of my Black Ops 2 Tips and Tricks series. So let's get right into it. Today's tip is jump shotting, as well as drop shotting, but specifically I'm going to go into detail about jump shotting. Now, Black Ops 2 has been known for its lag compensation and picture issues, whatever it might be. There's been proof that even in private matches, when people jump around corners, the person that would see them coming around the corner actually has a delayed view, so they don't see them until about a split second, half a second, or whatever later. This gives the person coming around the corner a huge advantage in gunfights. Jump shotting is a really simple concept that pretty much anybody can add into their gameplay, but what you want to remember is to not jump in every gunfight. Save it specifically for when you're going around corners where you know an enemy is waiting for you. This gives you the huge advantage in that specific gunfight. I wouldn't use it if you're already in a gunfight because it can also screw around with your aim. The one exception is if you have a scuff controller and you don't have to remove your finger from the actual aiming analog stick because you have the modded back bumper controller or whatever it's called. I do not have a scuff controller, so I've never used it, but you can then be able to jump without having to actually ever take your thumb off the analog stick, so you can still aim while jumping. And then you can actually incorporate jumping into almost all of your gameplay. But for a person using just a regular Xbox Live controller, or not Live, just a regular Xbox controller, I would not recommend it. So let's move on now. We're going to get into how to get nuclear killers really easily, the metal. And when I say really easily, I don't necessarily mean you're going to get them every game, or they're all of a sudden going to be the easiest thing in the world to get, but there are some tips out there that can really improve your gameplay when it comes to getting nuclear killer medals. So let's get started on that. Tip 1. Party up with other good players and have them run orbital VSATs. This is absolutely key for getting easy nuclear killers. By knowing where the enemy team is at all times, you're just going to have such an advantage, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get surprised from the back, flanked, and die. Basically, you're going to be able to know where the enemy is at all times, and you're going to be winning so many more gunfights. So that's tip 1. Moving on to tip 2, use the UAV counter UAV and orbital VSAT score streak setup yourself, because this way the enemies counter UAV'd at all times, so they won't see your unsuppressed gunfire, because unfortunately SMGs have been nerfed and silenced weapons just aren't that effective anymore. And the UAV obviously will help you get your higher kill streaks, and once you have your orbital VSAT up, you're going to be good to go, and you're probably going to be getting to your next UAV counter and orbital VSAT really quick, so it's just going to be a constant cycle. You'll be getting kills left and right, you'll be getting tons of assist XP, and you'll have no problem continuing your kill streak. So let's move on now. Tip 3. Use Scavenger and Toughness. It is easiest to get nuclears when using your own weapon of choice, and the reduction of flinch when using Toughness is imperative to winning most gunfights. Not having your aim fly up into the sky is going to make you win so many more gunfights. I'm telling you guys, Toughness is like the equivalent to stopping power in this game. It's going to win you a lot of gunfights. Definitely use it. So let's move on to tip 4. Use Ghost. This is obvious. UAVs aren't going to tip the enemy off to where you are, so when you're on a good kill streak, you're not going to get flanked by an enemy that just happened to have a UAV and get behind you. So moving on to tip 5. Pick your gunfights and learn when to retreat. This is probably the biggest, most important thing when it comes to getting nuclear killers and doing good in general. You have to know when it's not a good idea to run into a group of enemies, even if you have an orbital VSAT. Like right here, for example, I knew I was beat there. I was screwed, so I decided to run, and you know what? It worked perfect. I got some more kills, and I did end up getting my nuclear killer, so that worked perfectly. And probably the biggest tip of all, the one that I tell everybody who's trying to get nuclear killers or just improve their gameplay in general when trying to get score streaks, take your time. Do not just rush out. I mean, it is not a good way to finally get that nuclear killer medal. You want to make sure that you use patience, you assess every situation before blatantly running into a room, and think everything through, and by just playing smart in general, you'll not only notice a huge improvement in your gameplay, but you'll also notice that nuclear killers will be a lot easier to get. So I hope you guys give all those tips a try. They should help you out tremendously, and I hope this video helped you guys out. So if it did, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and until next time, peace out, people.